guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to the First Division preview today. This is the first weekend of the First Division of the season, Keane, so really looking forward to this one. Some meaty fixtures here as well. We start off with Cork City and Cove Ramblers, like a derby in the first day. Really looking forward to this one. How do you see it, Keane? We'll start off with you, sure.
Look, this First Division, I'm after subscribing there. I'm after paying for it. This First Division is going to be really exciting. I am delighted and glad Pats aren't in it for the start. But look, I'm very excited to see it. This is going to be very exciting. And if it's half as good as last year, we're in for a treat. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I just can't wait for the First Division to start. And I really mean that. Like you said, it's the opening day of the season. Cove and Cork will start with. And, great. What a start. And a lot of pressure on Cork. Mm-hmm. An awful lot of pressure on Cork this season. People are probably talking about them being 6th, 5th. And then they go and sign, they keep hold of Morrissey, they sign B.E., they sign Dylan McGlade. They bring all the top-ish players back. So it's going to be a big season for them, well needed. If I had to pick, I'm going to go Cork win, but it'd be a tough one.
Yeah, JP, I mean, it's a tough enough start for Cork City, having a derby match against a Cove side that I would suggest will probably only have one or two signings starting as well. The back five, they're pretty tight there. Cork, good youth players coming through. Yeah, a couple of good signings. But I think Keane's right there. The pressure is on Cork in this one, isn't it?
It is, yes, because only 4 years ago they were champions of Ireland, really. And I think they've been in free fall. I think even before they were crowned champions, they've been in free fall. I think only that they managed their deal with Preston that Maguire wouldn't go until the end of July. I think that extra month that they got out of it sealed the title. I think they've been in free fall ever since. They went on, won the league, but they didn't canter to the league the way they were before Maguire left. They sort of fell over the line a bit, and then they didn't really back that up in the next season. And the season after, it's just been total free fall. It was no surprise to see them get relegated last year. Even in a full season, I think they still would have been relegated. I think they were lucky it was a half a season, because I think if it was a full season, they may well have been totally out of sight. Nobody near them. But pressure's on them, because they're going to be, as Keane touched on it, they're going to be people saying they're going to finish 5th, 6th, basically because of the way they got relegated last year. But they've some good players in their ranks. As I said, Stephen Beattie's come back from America. They've Garrett Morrissey there, which is key, that they've managed to sign a couple of players that know the club, come in, and they'll just pass on all their experience to the players that are new, and the youth players that are coming up through. And Colin Healy there, he's a Cork boy. He's played for them. He's won trophies with them. So he's a good appointment in my eyes. But you never ever want a derby game, the first game of the season. Never ever, especially when you're provincial sides like of Cork and Cove. You're hoping that you don't meet one another in the first game, and unfortunately for them, they have. But I think it is a hard one for me to call, because Cove were close to making the playoffs last year. I think they just missed out, didn't they? And I'm going to go for a draw on this one. I just think it's going to be very, very tight.
Sitting on that. What did you go for, actually? Did you go for
Cork? I went for a Cork win, but I'm just going to say something. And I just, it's the first one of the season that we've...
Oh, your lava up there.
Yeah. It's going to be intriguing to have a look at and see the goalkeeping situation at Cork now. They brought Hunt in. I'd imagine he's going to start. I can't see McNulty playing, and to be honest, I'm praying to God he goes, JP. If you don't know, I'm not as big as fan, but he's just that is big for Cork. They didn't get it right last year, and that's the problem. they never got it right and they never performed right. So I'm going to say a Cork win, but over the course of the season, I think it'll tail out with the goalkeeper. And I think Boston and McNulty last year were disasters. So, you get Hunt in now. See how he gets on. He's a lot of experience playing football now for Cork. And now is his chance probably to step up the mark. Like, I know they're in the fourth division, they're in the same division, and Cove probably very well might beat Rovers or might beat Cork City on Friday night. But I think Cork City for Hunt is a huge step up compared to Cove Ramblers.
I actually think Cove are going to pinch this 1-0. I just think their cohesion. We've seen in the Premier Division, actually, in the opening day of the season, the teams with the least signings, more or less, look the better sides. Like, I know it sounds like not rocket science, but I think Cove might pinch this one because of that and because of the less pressure attached to it. Speaking of big games, Galway United take on Shelbourne, which is some fixture for the opening day of the season. And both have made waves in the transfer window, particularly Shelbourne in terms of the amount they brought in. Galway, John Caulfield coming in, obviously, second half of last season. How do you see this one going, JP? Who do you favour in this particular fixture?
This is a tie of the weekend, isn't it, really? Between the first division and the Premier Division. It's one that everybody will be looking forward to. And if you're neutral and you've bought the League of Ireland pass, this is a game you're going to watch on Friday night. This is the two teams that everybody are tipping to be the top two in the division. That probably because of the money that they've both spent and the players that they've brought in, it's been absolutely unbelievable for two first division teams, and to be able to spend that amount of money. And I think a lot of teams in the Premier Division will be thankful that these two teams are in the first division, because if you look at their squad, especially Shelbourne, they brought in Gerardo Bruno, Ali Gilchrist from Derry. It's just riddled. It's just, you look through your squad, it's just full of Premier Division talent, really. And it's probably a better team that they have now in the first division than they had in the whole of last season in the Premier Division. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this game, because if you look, Galway, they pinched McCormick from Derry as well. He's a huge signing for them, and probably could have been doing with McCormick on Saturday. Just they break up a play and stuff like that. But it's a hard one to call. Matt, I'm going to edge towards a Shelbourne one.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw myself, actually. But Cian, what do you think overall yourself? It's a bit of a humdinger for the open day of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, like what JP said, it's the game of the week. It's the game that I'll be watching, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think, I remember a couple of years ago, Galway probably weren't too good, and Shells played the first day of the season. And I think Shells were 2 down at half time, if I'm right. And they won it 3-2 in the end. And it was Morris's first, let's say, game in charge, competitive. So it's a great game for the start of the season. But people need to realise it's not a cup final. It's the first day of the season. The amount of games that's going to be played, nothing's going to be won and lost here. So I'm going to say a Galway win, just considering like Caulfield and how he manages big games and how we've seen it. So I would say that, but I think a big thing this year is the recruitment side of Shelbourne, bringing in Caffrey, who was at St. Kevin's Boys and done so well, and Alan Reynolds into the first team squad. Like, they're, in my opinion, them two signings are better than any player you can sign. So, they're worth points alone, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like, they're going to earn you points. So that's a huge, huge plus for Shells, and that swings me for them for the title. Players, regardless. I think the signings that they've made is fantastic, and the same with Galway. Galway are gone full time, and like, God, I don't know. I don't even want to know what budget they're on. That kind of frightens me to think like they're in the first division. But look, we're in this day and age, people are not stupid, clubs aren't stupid, so they're not playing out their means. But I'm going to go for a Galway win. Nothing's going to be won and lost, and I won't be surprised if it finishes a draw.
The only thing actually I'll touch on there is that France Lee Lamboto broke his leg there a few days ago, which is horrible for him. Striker, Galway, 20-year-old. I had him on my ones to watch list for the first division. To happen a couple of days before the season as well. Real sickener. A blow to Galway, to be honest, but a sickener for him personally as well, really, wasn't it, Keane?
Yeah, look, definitely, but no, I don't mean to sound bad. It's horrible what happened to him, and I feel for him, especially like people are expecting big things from him. But Galway have a squad, and they definitely have players to fill in. So I won't be too worried in Galway's opinion, but for the young player,
point of view, yeah, exactly.
For the young player, it's good. Like I was speaking before, I remember Paul Ozam's son Evan was at UCD, and he worked so hard to get into the Premier Division, but just before the season he got injured and he was gone for the whole year. So look, it's not nice. Unfortunately, I don't wish it on anybody, but sometimes it just can't be helped, and I wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, that's it really. I suppose UCD take on Athlone Town, and Athlone have actually made a raft of signings as well. An awful lot of signings. Same as Shelbourne. UCD. They've a lot of young players. They have some good players in there as well. But they've added the likes of Sam Todd as well, and Rory Higgins. Brennan's come in from Rovers B and that. So they've some good young players there. But you expect UCD to have less signings playing, and that might come into effect here. What do you think, JP, against Athlone Town?
I think Athlone they were the surprise packages really of the transfer market, weren't they? Really, every time they were announcing a new signing, it was coming from a Premier Division. It was St. Pat's, Bows, Shelbourne. I think they signed a couple from Dundalk, didn't they, as well?
I will jump in there and say that most of their signs were actually quite early as well, weren't they? In fairness,
they were, yeah. Came really on very much on the back of the end of after the semi-final of the cup. Pretty much a couple of weeks later, they were pretty sitting down and getting these players tied down. After 4, 5, 6 years of just languishing at the bottom of First Division and around there, they've decided that they're now going to make a good push for it, and they've signed some very, very good players. Slingerman and goal is another great signing. To be honest, in my opinion. So yeah, they're going to be another team to look out for. I think any other season you could have picked the top 4, 5 in the First Division and say, well, if this team doesn't win the league, they're going to be in the playoffs. But I think if you're looking throughout the First Division, it's going to be hard to pick a title winner, and it's certainly going to be hard to pick outside of maybe Shelbourne, Galway, and Bray. It's going to be hard to decide who the other teams in the playoff are going to be. And I put Athlone into that bracket that they're very much going to be on the tails of getting into the playoffs.
Who do you see winning this?
Athlone.
Keane, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a hard one to call. You can never write UCD off in this division, no matter who's playing with them. Like they are the bread and butter of this league, and I know you have to commend them for that. What they do for the league and the players. Like I was looking back on videos from 2007, 2008, 2009, and the amount of players. Like I was looking at Pats against UCD, and I'm looking at the players, and I'm saying, "Holy Jesus! Like what a team, And you have what they do for the league is great, and look, it's great to see them still going strong, and I'd love to see them make a push for the playoffs, no doubt about it. Athlone, they've signed some really good players, like I says, but they've signed a lot of players that probably haven't performed at the level that they need to be, or they should have performed for the last 2-3 years. Like for example, Slingerman, I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper, really, really good, but he's not the keeper that left Roddy. And he's not the keeper that left Roddy, and look, he's a lovely fella, what a man, top man, and I really wish him the best of luck. I really do hope he kicks on, because he's a great asset to the league and a great goalkeeper. But like the likes of, even for example, you're looking at Curtis Bourne, probably hasn't got a decent run of games since he played for Pats.
I didn't think he looked fish last season either with Waterford.
No. No, and now Curtis Bourne's a player that I admire a lot, and he's a player that I still have in this Pat side. His quality is unbelievable. JP, you might remember a couple of years ago up in Buncrana it was, and he scored an absolute screamer for Pats against Derry. Like, honestly, this fella can play. And if you look back on his goals for Bowes, even against Dundalk, he scored a screamer. I remember it down into the shopping centre end. But like, his quality is what could be the difference if you can get him playing right. You know, they brought in some prospects like the likes of. I'm a big fan of Dylan Hand. I think he's a really good player. Jamie Hollywood, a really good player. So, you know, they brought in Meany as well, who I like a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing players like that play. They brought in players with a bit of a reputation, like in terms of, let's say, being a decent player, you know. So it'd be interesting to see how they fare out over the course of the season. I just hope it's not too soon for them, because the work that they're doing in the community and everything is amazing. And I hope this isn't a one-season push, if you know what I mean. I hope this is a plan.
Work, then they're in trouble type thing, yeah.
Yeah, so I hope it's a plan, and I'm praying that it's a plan, because we need that loan, you know, and they're a big asset to the league and what they have. The facilities are up there with the very best. I'm gonna go for a UCD win, and the reason I'm going for UCD here is because they know the league inside out. And I'm not saying the players of Athlone don't. I'm saying, you know, UCD have that bit of stability. I know they chop and change every year, but they're used to that. This is probably the first time in a long time that Athlone are probably going into the season with a bit of pressure under their belt. So I'm going to go by UCD and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go for UCD as well, because again, it comes back to the cohesion thing for me. And to be honest with you, not all those Athlone players, some of them are going to flop or whatever, and can guarantee it. Some of them will do well. UCD, people keep saying they lost Maddie, but they still have Collie Whelan. We can't forget about Collie Whelan, even, and all the goals he scored last season. And they've actually added a few, which is unusual as well. Sam Todd, as I mentioned before, and that. So I think they might start off better here and pinch the victory. Right, on to the next one. It's Wexford FC and Cabinteely. We'll start with you, Cian, here. How do you see this one going?
You put me on the spot there. I was expecting to go to JP.
I like to do that. Switch around, put you on the spot.
Look, I think this is a huge game for, I would say, for who finishes a little bit higher, I think. You know, I don't think both teams, I think they'd be down there. But, you know, Wexford have a little bit about them. I think Wexford sign well every year. Well for their means, like, you know, I think they sign players that fit their build and fit the club.
They've kind of signed promising players, haven't they, this year in particular?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing them play. I will, like I said, I'm going to be busy now the weekends, because I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be at the Pats game, and I'm going to be watching every other game in the first division and everything. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. And this is a game that probably wouldn't meet the eye of a lot of fans, or I can't see the views on this game, if you went back and looking at them, are going to be very high. But I'm going to go for a Wexford win here. And I'm going to say fairly comfortable as it gets. So, like, it might be only 1-0, but I think it's going to be a comfortable evening for Wexford, if you know what I mean.
Interesting stuff. JP, Cabinteely have lost a lot of players actually during the pre-season, but they have kept on. They always seem to keep on to that man, Kieran Marty Waters. He's going to be key to them again this season, isn't he?
He is, yes. A very good player. I think when he signed for Cabinteely, it was an eyebrow raising, wasn't it? Because he was saying he was coming from a Bray team that was, I think, finished 5th, wasn't it? And the following season ends up signing for Cabinteely. It's going to be very interesting, because Cabinteely, I think, will look back on last year and see that as a huge opportunity to get promotion. I don't think in the short term anyway that they're going to have a better opportunity to do so. So that'll be, at this point, say, from them. Will the players that they've brought in, will they have the hunger and desire to put what went wrong right last year? Who knows? Wexford, I think they got promoted maybe a season too soon, and they've been paying the price ever since. Um, Look, Wexford, these two teams are probably going to be a development squad, really, aren't they? For
Kind
their
of, yeah.
younger, it's going to be the pinnacle. I don't think either team in the short term are going to have any real aspirations of trying to get back in the Premier Division. So these could be the two teams that you could be looking at to see who's going to finish bottom. And for this game, I'm going to say, because of looking throughout the Wexford squad, they look to be a very young team. Cabinteely probably are a young team as well, but I'm going to go for Cabinteely to win this game.
I'm going for a draw. I agree with you there. I think they're both kind of like development squads in many ways. There's a little joke going around with Wexford at the moment that they're the same Pat's youth side, which they've about 6 or 7 guys either on loan or they've signed from the same Pat's under 19s, which is interesting as well. But no, like they're good players and that, but it's just difficult to make an impression in a league with players that are 18 or 19, basically. And Cabinteely are similar. They do have some good young players, so it's a case of over the season who has the best young players does better, I think. On the day, I think I'll go for a draw here. On Sunday, this is the only game on Sunday, by the way. All the others are on Friday evening. You might be busy Friday evening, Keane. Bray Wanderers taking on Treaty United. Very interesting to see Treaty United for the first time in the league, and it's a difficult fixture for them, I have to say. Bray to Carlisle. Brandon Kavanagh has been in brilliant in pre-season as well. Keane, how do you see this one going? Hard to not see a Bray win?
Yeah, well, look, I always look back and I think, I don't know who they were playing, but Cabinteely's first game in the League of Ireland, I think they were 11 or 12 to 1 to win it. And they won it 1-0. So, I don't know.
I'm going to the bookies to check if Treaty are 12 to 1 and if they aren't, put the fiver on.
Yeah, it's worth it, I swear to God, because they've nothing to lose. And they're gonna go for it. And I'm really looking forward to it. I watched the game live. They had it on Facebook. And I have to add, I was pissing myself laughing. I don't know if anyone's seen it. He says, my mate is watching this from the prison or something. And I swear to God, I was watching it. There was like a Facebook live stream. Can you send a shout out to me, mate? He's in the prison watching it. And I was just breaking.
I've seen that.
Did you see that? Like, honestly, I have to say that was the highlight of it for me. But I really liked how they played, and they played a really good side as well. So I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is another game that should get a few people watching and tuning in to see what they're about, because this is a game now that is a free hit for Treaty, and Bray, look, all the pressure's on them to win it. They have to win it. So I'm going to say a Bray win, but just don't be surprised.
JP, what are you saying here? Bray do look like they've a lot more firepower. They've Graydon and they've even Connor Clifford signing there for the first division. Brandon Kavanagh, Gary Shaw. The names there coming through. You know what I mean? They're quality players. How do you see this one? Treaty up against it in that sense, or all the pressure on Bray, as Keane says?
Yeah, I think the pressure will be on Bray. I think they're in the same boat as Cabinteely. They'll have seen last season as a huge opportunity must to get promotion, especially they were top of the table. They were top of the table with a few games to go, weren't they? And they messed that up and then were beating the playoffs.
I think there were 5 points clear with either 4 or 3 games left, which is a killer.
Yeah. So they'll see that as a huge opportunity must. Now, by looking to put it right this time around, they'll obviously have been keeping a close eye on Immendeezy and Polka Park, and at the recruitment that them two teams have been making, and no doubt that the end of last season people would have been tipping Brady to win the first division comfortable, but I think the signings at Shelbourne and Galway have made has just put Bray down the pecking order a wee bit. I'm sure they'll keep a close eye. I know it's too early in the season. You can't really the first game doesn't define your season, but they'll be looking to be in the top two, up there competing, trying to get promotion again. So they'll want to get off to a good start, especially because of how they ended last season. So pressure will be on them. They do that. Cian is correct. I think Treaty is a free hit for them. It's their first game back, or it's their first game in senior football. Nobody's really expecting anything of them, really. I do think they'll be better than Cabinteely and Wexford, but I don't see them making much ground on the top of the table. So this is a free hit for Treaty. I think pressure will be on Bray. They'll want to get off to a good start, and really hit the ground running to give themselves any sort of chance of getting promoted. And they do have a really good chance because they've Aaron Barry, Connor Clifford, Gary Shaw. They've seen Brandon Kavanagh, who was at Shamrock Rovers last year. I think he's on loan this year. Bray. They've got really good seasoned League of Ireland players that they aren't household names, but everybody knows who they are when you mention them. So yeah, they're going to be in the they're thereabouts again this year. And I think for this one, I'm going to tip Bray to win it. But I think all the pressure will be on them.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bray as well. I just have to with Brandon Kavanagh there. He's too good for the first division. You've Gary Shaw, possibly young Darrell Lynch is one to watch as well, a striker to watch. And you named it.
Maher, the goalkeeper too.
That's right. We forgot about Mar. Mar's a very good goalkeeper. And it's on Sunday, actually, because Mar was called up to the under-21 squad, notably as well. So very good goalkeeper, Brian Mar as well. Treaty, I do like Barrett, though. I like Tommy Barrett. There's something about him. He's clever. It is a building process for them as well. They could easily get something here, as Cian said. But I'll go for Bray to win this one as well. Right, guys, that's it for the First Division show. Please like, subscribe, and hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video. Thanks again, lads. That was brilliant. Fair play to you.